Okay, so hi and welcome to our PLM Innovation Forum. This is the first episode of four different shorter sessions that we'll run during this month. The first one is around 3D experience integrations and collaborations with partners and suppliers. So this year it's a virtual, as you can expect, once again, and it will also be available on demand directly afterwards, or directly, I guess, from Monday at least. It will be available, and you can listen into the different sessions once again. I mean, we have some really good presentations from our customers and also from partners today. We will also run a few internal made presentations, and it all will be available later on. So I think questions and other kind of feedback, I mean, you could enter them in the chat or in the questions and answers tab. We are not 100% sure that we'll be able to answer them during the sessions, but for sure we will get back and respond back to your different things later on. Anyhow, I'm Marcus. I am situated in Stockholm in our head office in Sweden, and I am leading this software division, and this is software division that is responsible for this PLMIF that we are running at the moment. I've been around for inside Technia for more than 20 years and have a lot of different roles. And with me today, I have Philip. And that will be the kind of friendly host of today.
Hello, Marcus. Hello. Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Yeah, very excited to participate to this meeting, to this presentation. So yeah, I'm Philippe Rinero, working on PLM field for like 20 years or so. In Technia, a little less, but yeah, I participate in a lot of projects in many different roles. And today we'll talk about integrations and collaboration. I think it's a very important subject now around PLM implementation. Integration now, the scope of PLM is growing since the beginning of PLM. Before it was mainly engineering. Now it goes from the starting of requirements up to manufacturing and even aftermarket. So a lot of people are connecting to PLM, working with the system and working with other systems. So now the need of integrating the PLM into the IT landscape is very important, and a lot more than before. At the beginning of my career, PLM was interfaced to like 2-3 applications. Now it's more like 10-15 applications that need to be interfaced. So now the complexity is a lot bigger. So it's interesting to have this session showing how today companies are managing this complexity, this new complexity. It's also a key factor for PLM deployment success, I think. So there is integration, there is also collaboration. When we talk about collaboration, we think of collaborating with suppliers and with partners. So there is this notion of extended enterprise to give access to the systems to the partner and supplier, external people. But in the past, I never seen real good implementation. There was implementation, but it was not completely efficient. But now there is a lot of very good tools that enable to reach a good collaboration. So it's also an occasion to share all this. So yeah, I'm very excited to see, and I think we have a very interesting presentation on this topic.
So if I understand you correctly then, Philippe, I mean, the world is kind of turning faster and faster, and it's more and more important to connect both systems, but also people and partners, so you get faster and faster feedback loops, being able to collaborate without waiting for mails, without waiting for other kind of responses, by connecting the systems and connecting also your supply chain and other partners.
Exactly, yes. We are talking about digital continuity now more and more. So this is also integration is really key for this. So yeah.
So let's have a look at the agenda for today. We are in the middle of the welcome session here. After that, we will hear from Ramesh from Dassault Systèmes, a senior solution architect, where he will describe Dassault's views on strategies when it comes to enterprise integrations and trying to understand where they are heading with their solutions. Would be very interesting to see. After that, we will have a customer case where Autoliv will tell about their journey when it comes to integrating a whole bunch of systems. And they have also recently started to use the Technia Integration Framework product, and they will also tell about their experience around that one. Then, Philippe, you will be back on stage again, talking about the offering that we have from Technia side when it comes to integrations, both on-prem and cloud. Then we'll fit in a small break. And after that, we go more into the collaboration area, where we will hear first from James and Thomas, working in our business development and R&D department. They will talk about how they're combining different kind of SaaS offerings into tailor-made solutions that can solve specific customer needs, and also connecting that to the Dassault cloud. And we will end with another customer story from Christian at Valmet Automotive. And he will tell the story about how they are working with their suppliers and partners in exchanging data and CAD in an efficient way to bring them closer.
Okay, so yeah, let's start with the first presentation. We have the chance to have Ramesh with us from Dassault Systèmes. He will give us an overview, and he will share the strategy of Dassault Systèmes about integration and integrating the 3D experience. So, Ramesh.
Thank you, Philippe.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramesh Velaga. I'm been part of Dassault Systèmes for the past 2 decades in the Innovia brand and in the PLM industry, about 25 years. Currently, my position is I'm the go-to-market focal for our key integration product or framework called Enterprise Integration Framework, and we'll go over what that stands for and how you could use it for your integration needs from the platform. Let me request control and
yeah, you should have now. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's look at Enterprise Integration Framework. Let's look at a little bit of history in terms of how evolution of integration happened over the years, and explain how we fit this integration framework into that history we have. Back in the day, when I guess if we have to take a room, maybe half of you were in your grade schools, we had these integration concepts where there would be file-based or batch process-based, where integrations would happen at best overnight. An application would take all of its data, export it to a file, send the file to a network file system, or run it periodically. And you still see that remnants of it where you expect data to be refreshed overnight. In this day and age of 24/7 global systems, there is no overnight, because customers are spread across the globe in all different time zones. So this quickly fell out of favor, and then that led to the API-based point-to-point integrations. It was great for a little while when each application could directly talk to other applications, but over time, as enterprises started to increase their footprint, IT departments started to acquire lots of different applications. Those point-to-point integrations became exponentially complex, and one change in one system. And again, given the nature of the updates we get to these softwares with the new agile methodology where all of these are developed, these became unmanageable. So over time, where even though it was one of the favored ways of integrations, even until 4 or 5 years ago, it got to a point where every customer or client was getting to a point where they could never keep up with the changes, and the cost of maintaining all those integrations was going through the roof. Then came about 10 years ago, we had this enterprise service bus model, where you have a common messaging bus across your enterprise, where each application could send messages across to the bus, and bus would transmit over to the application. That reduced some pain of the point-to-point integrations, but it's still each application would have to understand the messaging needs of the other applications in the enterprise. So even though it reduced some pain, we still had quite a bit of complexity with this process, or with this kind of integrations. So finally, the latest technology you've been seeing is the hub and spoke kind of event-based integrations. This is what almost all the cloud-based applications are using these days, where they're breaking down the integrations into small transactions. Mostly they're event-based. When an event occurs in one application, you send that to a central hub. That hub knows what that event is, and based on the needs of the integration, it would disperse it to different applications across the enterprise. So basically, this is the latest technology that a lot of us enterprise clients and customers are using these days, and a lot of cloud-based applications are also, and this is very cloud supportive and aware. So with that little history, let's see what this integration framework is. This was introduced on the cloud a couple of years ago, and introduced on-premise about early last year or early this year. Let's look at the needs. We've had, as Philippe was talking about it a little bit, and I was alluding, the corporate IT landscape has exploded lately, especially with COVID, where everything had to be digitized in a hurry. There were a lot of integrations points that were needed over time, and we want to ensure that all this investment into this different applications is leveraged. And 3D Experience Platform forms a very core part of your IT landscape, and enhances your investment into all the other applications. So especially in the cloud, given that there were limited touch points that you could have build integrations to, this integration framework would be the core methodology where you could connect your external applications, be it on-premise or on the cloud, to 3D Experience Platform. It could be used to publish engineering and manufacturing structures over to other systems. It could be used to export or import data from legacy systems, and keep the data synced up and coexisting with other applications. So let's look at the architecture. Again, this architecture slide is mainly on the cloud, but it's relatively close to what this is on-premise too. So we have a 3D Experience Platform with services like 3D Space available on the cloud for a long time, and also on-premise. But these services that I'm listing are specifically on the cloud. We have introduced a service called Credential Lifecycle Management Service that allows users, program users or applications, to work on behalf of Passport users. So you can create integration agent users that are specific to an application that could work on behalf of a Passport user who has the right authority, right credentials, and licensing in the platform. And this service allows you to build those integration agents and maintain them. Then again, this enterprise integration framework is event-based architecture, where whenever events happen in the platform, they could be dispersed to multiple subscribers. So we use ActiveMQ for the message bus service on the cloud as a service. It provides topics. You can subscribe to specific topics on the cloud, and authentication is provided to the credential agent in the CLM service. And there is an event publishing service that allows the client to control which events they want to publish. And whenever those events occur on the platform, notifications are sent to the client saying these events have just been performed, and these are the details of the event. And finally, once you have these events, we have this IP exchange service that could collect the information about a given product structure based on the parameters you provide to it, and give all of the data in one go instead of having to traverse a whole structure of products. So these are the 4 different services that are available, and all these services collectively are called the Enterprise Integration Framework. And again, this is a view from the cloud and on-premise. We have a couple of them that are available directly, and IP Exchange service is coming in the future. So once you have this Enterprise Integration Framework, you bring your own iPaaS, or the central hub that I was explaining, or a custom service that you could build for specific needs. And then use JMS. JMS is the event mechanism that we use to send out event messages to the external application, and you could use web services to then get more data about a given object, or modify the object to whatever you need to. So that iPaaS would be the central hub of the system, and then you can have other on-premise and cloud systems that fill the whole scenario. So this is a high-level architecture of the Enterprise Integration Framework. And let's look at the Enterprise Integration roles. We have Enterprise Integration Architect as a key role for this framework. And this architect role provides you a couple of widgets, one for agent management, the integration agents that I was talking about in the credential lifecycle management service, and event publishing. These 2 widgets are part of the Enterprise Integration Architect role, and this is used by the platform administrators for the most part, and sometimes integration developers. This allows the usage of public web services. Once you have this license, you'll be able to use web services using the agents declared. So once you have the infrastructure integration architect set up, you can then use the RESTful web services. You can connect to the platform using web services and extract data about a given object, or search for objects, or set attributes on a given object, for example. From a role perspective, you would require the functional license. So for example, in here, if you want to set a part number on an engineering item, you would require either product release engineer, Zen, or 3D product architect license for you to connect to that application and then modify or read the data. But these are actually called punctual operations, where you are talking about interacting with one object at a time. But for bulk needs that you want to import and export data into the platform, we have another set of roles that would be required to extract the product structure, entire product structure. And again, we use standard formats here. The standard we use here is step AP242, where if you request an export of a whole product structure, it extracts into a step AP242 format, and then provides all of the data in one go instead of having to make multiple calls. So we have we don't need any extra roles for punctual operations. They'll be part of the user's interaction with the platform using either project management or enterprise engineering item interactions and so on and so forth. But if you want to build extract bulk data or export or import bulk data, you require a couple of roles. Enterprise IP Integration Manager that allows extraction or export or import of data, and specifically for export, there's a volume-based integration pack. So this is a quick overview of the roles that come along with the integration framework. So now let's look at how the architecture of the integration framework would fit into your corporate IT landscape. So you have 3D experience on the cloud that you could be using. Again, this would be quite similar on-premise too, because the components are almost the same. You could be then using either commercial iPaaS system available on the cloud, or you could also have some of these iPaaS systems actually have local versions or local instances of an iPaaS system. Or you can also use open source iPaaS-like systems. For example, the one we have played around with was Apache NiFi. And again, these are the generic systems that are available. You will be talking a lot about Technia integration framework. That is one of these systems that you could be using in this context, which act like this component in this architecture. So we use technology connectors. Again, we don't have any prerequisite iPaaS system, so we just provide these technology connectors with JMS for messaging and RESTful web services for interacting with the data. And JMS would be working in conjunction with the events in the platform. So that is the interaction that happens between the 3D Experience platform and the central hub, which is the iPaaS system, or in this case, it could be Technia integration framework too. So once we have that connection to the iPaaS system, we could then be using the half connectors that are pre-built into these iPaaS systems and interact the data or exchange data with those applications like the ERP systems, Oracle NetSuite or SAP, for example, or for import-export. You could also use for connect to your either legacy PDM system or your finance systems, or in a number of applications that you would have these needs for. So this is a quick overview of what integration strategy is. That's the latest with the 3D Experience platform. And again, if you have any questions, let's just go ahead with that at this point.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh, a lot for this presentation. I have 2 questions actually. First, at the beginning, you show a little the history of the different integration patterns. So you show that we start with file exchange, then we have this point-to-point integration. We use bus after, and now it's a hub. To your experience now on the companies you are working on and you are in contact with, how the integrations are implemented today? What is the more common way to integrate the 3D Experience platform?
Yeah, I think you hit the point earlier on in your comments about the digital thread and the speed at which data is needed in the enterprise these days. Back in the day, it would be acceptable for users to have to wait overnight or wait for a weekly batch to run for data to be shown. These days, that is no go. If you go into any business group and say you'll get your data every week or every day, you'll be kicked out of the room. So a lot of, almost without an exception, every customer I'm talking to with the integration framework is either trying to fit this into iPaaS kind of system with the hub and spoke system. I would say majority, 75% to 80% of them use this methodology. There are a few customers who have very specific needs. They might not have a lot of applications to connect to at this point. And in those cases, they are also working with some custom services that they're building for themselves. So because these applications are so quick and easy to develop, even having to develop the custom service is not as onerous as back in the day.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's clear. Also during the presentation, so you presented this integration framework. We understand that it was built more for the cloud application. And you said several times that same bricks may be available for on-premise, but today I'm not sure if all this is available on-premise. In particular, this publishing event queue? Is it planned to have everything available on premise so that we can do integrations compatible for cloud and on-premise at the same time?
Yes, this enterprise integration framework has also been released on premise. I think the first GA release was 2022 FDO2, 2022X FDO2. And if you look at the license, the roles or services that are part of this on premise, you would have actually event publishing that is part of 3D Space or 3D or any of the platform services that allow you to publish events. As we use an open source solution for this service for message bus, we are asking our customers to bring their own. So basically all we are doing is this would be the same service that would be in their enterprise. So and you could bring either ActiveMQ or Kafka, which are available out of the box. And if you want to build bring your own message bus service that you already have in your application in your enterprise, you can also write your own connector to that. So on premise, you have a little bit more access to the infrastructure. So we are a little bit more open. On the cloud, we have to have rigid set of services with specific endpoints. So that's why you have these services on premise. That is not a negative in any respect. It gives you flexibility to assimilate the integration framework directly into your infrastructure. So the only thing that is at this point we don't have is IP Exchange service, which has been planned. But given that you have Java APIs or other APIs to exchange product structures from the platform, you could build a quick batch or a quick utility that would extract a specific structure from 3D Experience on premise. So that's not a showstopper in any respect.
Okay. Yeah. So. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, the good way to extract data on premise is the older way we did with the Java API. And then, as you said, this will be available soon. So we could use this REST web service and these jobs that are embedded in the application soon. That's what I understand. Okay, good. And I understand also that, yeah, this brings a little more installation on premise because we need to install all these ActiveMQ and these message bus services. But it's already available, actually.
Yes, it's already GA for about 6 months or so at this point.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you a lot, Ramesh, for sharing all this.